Michael?
There he is.
Thank you, Jeff.
Regular meeting of the Swansea Board of Selectmen for today, August 31st is called to order.
Make a motion, we approve the regular meeting minutes of August 17th, 2022.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we approve the non-public meeting minutes of August 17th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Further discussion?
I added in a couple PARs that are on the top for confirming hires that the board previously authorized.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody online?
Not yet.
Jenna, how we doing?
We're growing.
Looks like you got a good run going here this year.
Yeah, we've been doing very well. So yeah, the numbers have changed a little bit because two of my pendings came in and paid. So the numbers are slightly different, not much, but right now the money we have in hand is $15,032.50 with a pending amount of $2,405, which would bring us as of right now, if both, so all those pending events happen, $17,437.50.
Not bad.
There's still a good amount of November and December left. Right now, September, I have 2 Saturdays and 3 Sundays available. October is fully booked, weekends. And then November, I have 2 Saturdays and 3 Sundays still available. December, I didn't really go that far out. I think there's like 3 Saturdays booked, but I generally see like a 2-month window where, you know, if we're in September, then November is getting booked at that point. So I'm hopeful we might be able to maybe come close to 19, probably closing up the year. I'm hopeful. I don't know. I think we'll definitely go over that 18,000. We'll see.
So you'll double last year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's exciting.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
I'd like to, once like the end of the year, I'd like to see how much, you know, it costs to run this building, just like from a maintenance standpoint, you can see. How much.
How
offset.
close to
Yeah.
self-sustaining it is.
Yeah. I mean, at least that's the goal, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we just been really big hit, a lot of birthday parties, baby showers, and bridal showers. Those are our like main things. Celebrations of life, unfortunately, are starting to get a lot more popular. Not popular, but like
Common.
yeah. People are wanting to use the hall for those.
They're dying to get in.
Ooh.
That's a Ken comment. How did that slip by him?
You let me beat him to it too.
So yeah, hopefully.
Are you getting any comments on things that we could do to enhance the site?
Not really. I think adding the bins for the trash was very helpful. A lot of people have said how it is nice now that they don't have to take their trash with them. So that was a nice feature added. A lot of people do ask if we offer linens and things like that. And we do have some linens and we've had some chair covers that we've had donated over the past from events. It's just the biggest part is laundering them and who is responsible for that. And does a lot more than she probably should as far as like her time goes. And I try to tell her like, you know, please don't do that. You know, you have to be paid for your services. So that could be something we could expand in the future. I mean, I already have reached out to People's Linens to kind of see if they would work with us as far as like billing us. If I had a party, I need this much, this color. And the only problem is they want someone to pick them up and drop them off. So logistically, it doesn't really make sense because if we're gonna be paying for it, we don't want to leave that up to the customer to pick up and drop off. And I don't really see me going over to People's Linens. I don't know if that's something that, you know, gonna take up a lot of my time.
Could they put it on the route? Because they have vans.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of asked that, it didn't really seem like it was a thing, it was more like if it was like automatically weekly or monthly, if like we can guarantee we'll meet those. So it's definitely something we can explore. If we get a lot more weddings, it's mostly the weddings and baby showers, but it hasn't ever been an issue where people are like, oh, you know, I don't want to rent now because you don't have the. But it's just a nice feature to have, just
Is
logistical.
there a possibility of collaborating with peoples where they could put a flyer together and you could hand it to the person and let them just do that themselves?
Like
Yeah, I mean, I
preferred
definitely
vendor kind of.
recommend certain vendors and stuff, not certain vendors, but like, you know, for like table, like tents and stuff, like Elegant Settings is local and key.
They probably have linens, right? I mean.
They do too, yeah, absolutely. So it really hasn't been an issue. Oh, speaking of Elegant Settings, the hairball, Humane Society hairball is being held here in September, which I think is really great because a lot of people are gonna be coming in and out of the building for that event. So
Great.
hopefully 2023 will get some rentals from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're doing a tent outside because they're larger than what the building can hold. So they're gonna do most of it outdoors. It's just their auction items will be inside
And bathrooms, right?
in the bathroom. Yeah. Should be good.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you feel we should be doing to enhance the process, marketing or otherwise?
Maybe, but I guess I would really have to sit down and figure out what we really want to market for. I mean, obviously the weddings bring in the most money, but we don't do as many weddings. And I think if we were really booked with weddings, it'd be great for revenue, but it kind of loses the community house aspect of it for people for like bridal showers and things like that. Because if you have
Booked
it
up
for the
every
wedding
weekend,
package,
yeah.
you have it for the whole weekend, so it limits other people's usage for it. I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, if we could have someone dedicated to the hall to do almost everything as far as like booking and changing it over. A lot of people are like, oh, can you do 2 events in one day? Like if someone had an early like 10 to 12 party and then like they could be a night party. We just aren't capable. We don't have the staff to turn it over, to inspect it, to make sure everything is kosher for another event to come in that night. I would say that would ultimately be a goal that maybe we could try to accommodate at some point. Don't know how realistic it is at this moment, but maybe in the future.
How about the PowerPoint projector kind of situation so that we don't have to have a portable one?
Yeah, so we talked about doing, like, before we did the upstairs renovation, we talked about doing a fixed one with Alan. And basically he said, by the time you get it up, the technology moves so
Obsolete.
fast that it becomes obsolete and it's up on the ceiling and it's hard to get to. And so that's why we just opted, we have the big screen, so it is
How about it?
easier, but.
About a flat screen. So the reason I bring it up is I came here for a celebration of life and their little, I think they had a PowerPoint.
Yeah, a lot of people
Flat
do like
screen.
slideshows,
Yeah.
pictures and stuff.
And it was just a nightmare trying to get it set up and
Set
run.
up, yeah.
It'd be nice if it, even if we just had a flat screen somewhere that
Mhm.
could run it.
Yeah, good idea.
And then I don't know if it's big enough, maybe we could do it for a budget hearing and things like that, but
Yeah.
not have to have a PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm, Anne's not as tech savvy. I try to show her how to use these things, but it's hard because she's the one here on the weekends and I'm not. So. maybe-
Speakers and stuff.
Yeah, like the PA system, we've had some issues with and stuff, but it is nice that we can offer that to people, that we do have the opportunity to offer the projector, the screen, a PA system for music and things like that. So I think they're all good features, like, yeah, maybe how to streamline the process a little bit better.
Yeah, so you can look into the flat screen, basically like big flat screen TV more or less, right?
Right.
Yeah, smart TV.
Like a smart TV versus,
You're going to fancy things in the school nowadays, so like the smart whiteboards, which you can touch screen. I know those teacher literally, like the meet yourself or things, but what was friendly.
Any other questions?
Just plug that, you know, Jenna was tasked with this, I think, last year, and of course, that was still more of a COVID year kind of than we expected, but I think she's really taken the responsibility and run with it. She takes a lot of ownership in what happens here, and I think she's done a great job with it. So she should be working with Ann, and, you know, the committee is still providing some support and donations and everything, but taking good ownership.
Oh, you know what, actually, sorry, let me back up. I do think we need some outdoor lighting. There's nothing on this side of the building other than the door lighting, you know, and for something like the hairball, I think they might even have to rent some lighting because their event will be outside. And it could potentially be dangerous for people to walk from a tent that is lit across the lawn to the bathrooms.
We ran into that at the very Swansea Christmas.
And the other guys,
And it was very dark.
yeah, so maybe if we can get maybe a couple of floodlights, at least on the corners of the buildings, even if they're motion, maybe, no,
If we got an event that the lights blinking on and off.
oh, not motion, okay, I thought you were just saying no to the lights in general.
Well, and not to, you know, the neighbors, every time a cat walks by, the
Yeah.
spotlights going on, I can hear some complaints from
Yeah.
across the streets.
Yeah, okay, motion might not be a bad idea.
Maybe
I think
timer.
timer or
Of course, you could probably get ones that you can operate from your phone.
phone, yeah, that's true. But I do think lighting is important. Not only for when events happen out there, but just security in general. We did have a pot smashed on Prospect Street, like there was a flower pot at the corner of this back driveway in Prospect, and we don't have any cameras on that side of the building, which it wasn't a very valuable piece, but it would have just been nice to be like, you know, the people that were suspected of doing it also tried to get into the hall at like 3:30 in the morning. So it would be nice to, you know, at least have lights out there so it deters people, I guess.
How long would it take you to put a proposal together?
I think with Jasmine's help, I don't think it would take too long, maybe,
He's off next week. Don't
okay,
We'll work with Joe. He's got,
yeah, maybe end of September.
Any issues with that L-chip as far as what kind of?
As long as I think if it's not
Removable,
permanent,
yeah.
yeah, if it's removable.
and they wouldn't want like something that was, I don't know what 1916 floodlight they don't want a reproduction that looks like it's trying to pretend to be original. They want something that's clearly different. So I'd say with that, probably just.
And to be honest, anytime we've ever asked them, like, the answers we get are so muddy, it's like, what exactly, is that a yes or no? So,
Could we have like a gravel walkway or something that goes from here around the building, and maybe have some like street light type things?
Yeah,
So we
probably
don't have
good.
to put anything on the building. Just so,
yeah, I mean, the walkway would be nice, but I also think just in general,
well, that's what, I mean, the street lights they would light up the white building. You know,
okay,
because
but also the lawn,
Right.
okay, something
the
strong,
whole kind of area.
I get you, I thought you were talking about.
Decorative lights.
Yeah, but
What lights?
I mean,
Decorative lawn.
whatever we got on the road
Yeah,
up
like
here, that
like the Main Street. one.
Right.
It's not-
Main Street.
Yeah.
They're smaller. You could have- it look nice.
Yeah, I think if it can light up a good chunk of the.
so instead of like shining off the building, it be showing the building and
Mhm.
the walk.
Might get into a different price range with that though. Might need some fundraising.
I used to watch it.
Okay, I will work with Joe.
I can check with Jack Franks too, because he has a system that he uses for his lights that might be
Uh-huh.
more economical, but and still fulfill the goal.
Mhm. Okay,
So by the end of September,
I think that is a good, yeah, between
Good goal.
vacations and time off and stuff, I think that I can get them with that. September.
with the goal, obviously it's not going to meet the hairball, but would the goal be to have this installed this year? If the numbers came in right, or put it in for next year's budget? Yeah, have it installed in the spring.
I don't necessarily see a need to get it done before the end of the year unless it's budgetary constrictions, but I mean, Oh, well, actually, okay, there you go. Yeah, I guess.
Or we could rent, like, obviously I didn't know about the previous part where the fire department rented lights to light up that area, so we could do that again, but
Yeah, okay, so, yeah. Possibly, hopefully before December 3rd.
yeah, I think that's what it is, right?
Well,
That
you
first
want to
Saturday.
get, if you gotta do digging in the ground, you're gonna want to do it before that too.
Well, yes, I guess it depends, I think it all depends on what type of lighting you go with, so yes, if
Yeah.
it needs to be,
If you're doing a walkway and stuff, that would
Yeah.
be tough.
okay. Maybe we'll come back with a couple of different proposals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The business.
Well, I thought you were coming later, so,
Practice fell apart really quick.
so if we can jump to
I
the
ran
Gaga pit, I guess I
Yeah.
suggest we do that.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ash.
Oh,
Where'd your friend go? Is she running up and down the street or?
hopefully.
No, she didn't go outside.
we'll get there. We have, it's been back to school is kindergarten. I don't know what was.
They have a small version.
They have a small version.
But
Okay.
they might want to see the big one.
The big version, this is my large version of what Brad looks like. But yes, I don't know what she does. So ideally, right now, what Cutler is proposing is they're looking to put a 28-foot diameter Gaga pit in at the playground. I went and met with Aubrey and kind of mapped out where our soccer field lays versus where the asphalt ends. There's like a basketball hoop right here, and then there used to be the volleyball nets over here that they currently use for tetherball. And we have a beautiful little spot right here in the middle that the school is proposing that we put a Gaga pit. It will be semi-portable. So the plan is that they're buying brackets, that they'll buy the wood from Home Depot. They're doing two 8x10s. So it'll be 20 inches high around the pit and within their diameters, and makes a nice little octagon type thing. They're gonna do wood chips as the soft center to it, so it won't impose on any mowing constrictions or things like that. We have to worry about getting in, we don't have to weed whack it or anything like that. And then two, if need be, down the road, it does need to be moved, it just has to be unbolted, picked up, moved to a new location.
So what the hell is that Gaga?
You didn't
I
Google
looked
it?
it up too.
So think about people just really, like, you're standing inside a big circle with some high walls, and it's like an odd version of like dodgeball and like four
Slash
square.
handball or-
Yeah, so it's like you can hit the ball once and then it has to bounce off the wall, and you don't want to get hit with the ball other than your hands. So all the kids are like jumping and dodging as they're smacking the ball
So
around.
it doesn't have anything to do with Lady Gaga.
No, it does not, no. No,
I
it's,
think named it that.
it's the biggest, newest rave. I haven't looked into why it's called that, but Keene just installed one at their Robin Hood Park. It was part of their big park reveal that they did in July this past year. It's very up and coming, like Surrey Charter School has one over at their school. The YMCA has talked about putting one in.
A lot of videos.
Yes.
A lot of videos looking at.
Oh, yeah, and it's literally, it's just kids like jumping and dancing, and they're
I feel like
all
it's
screaming.
for dodgeball, because I don't think you can actually physically pick the ball up
Yeah, right,
and like chuck it at people's heads. You have to like bounce it off the walls and try to hit people
yeah.
knees under.
It looks like it's a lot of fun. I'm all for them putting it in.
What's the age group?
It would be for the Cutler students, so they're third grade through sixth right now for their school, depending on obviously what happens with the school down the road and everything like that.
How does it rank?
Ideally, I think it's gonna just be the wood chips, and then it's gonna just be sitting on top of the ground, so hopefully it won't retain anything.
Gravel or anything underneath?
She, by the sounds of it, wasn't planning on doing any prep other than popping it down and filling it in with some wood chips.
I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
Works.
And ideally where it sits, it's in a flat spot. It's right next to the soccer field that already doesn't pool water or anything like that. The asphalt does end right through this general area, but most of this is all still kind of sandy grass, whatnot. The swings come through this general area now. And it doesn't interfere with the soccer field. They're far enough away where we have a good sideline clearance. Because we're gonna need it for that soccer program this fall.
Have a lot of kids.
181, and that's not including the, what, 20 some people.
There's a couple messages.
Yeah, I've turned away so many people, and more due to the lack of having people volunteer to coach. I would love to take all the kids, but it's now finding the parents to coach the teams. Hey, you want I'm all for it.
Are
I
you
didn't put a little
coaching again this year?
coaching
No?
guide together. That's what I said. I was like,
He's
come
in
on.
Chesterfield now.
What?
It makes sense. I have to drive to Chesterfield to drive back to Swansea.
To turn around and go back again. Yeah, I know, that's what I said. So yes. I think it would be a great addition to the school. And something that wouldn't be able to be vandalized easily other than potential spray paint to the wood type situation. No one's gonna be taking it apart, I don't see. The school also has fantastic camera system there. So anytime we've dealt with goals being flipped or that, they had a basketball hoop get smashed over the winter, their cameras seem to be
Can I
nice.
ask you a quick question? Did they have one at Ways Grove for camp? It looked like something like that. It was around
Where's from?
Ways Grove.
That's in Chesterfield.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I didn't even know where Burrs Grove was. I was like, oh.
This was a test.
I was
You're
gonna
actually
say, like, I'm
looking at
sorry.
the Chesterfield job.
They have one.
Oh, they have one.
Yeah, honestly, a ton of
But I
places
know
have.
where Ways Grove is.
No, so you're halfway half in the dark.
That's it's literally, the ball's not supposed to go above the edges. That's its whole point.
I was thinking one dog could ruin it. I move to approve the construction of the Gaga pit on town property near Cutler's School.
Things you thought you'd never say.
I'll second that.
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic.
Good luck.
You want
Good
to take
job.
5 minutes to
Fine.
talk about your
Yeah.
other accomplishments?
I
upcoming
I
season?
can. So we just wrapped up our lovely 8-week summer program. We pushed 106 kids through the entire program throughout the 8 weeks, taking on average about 55-ish kids per week. I ideally would like to see that number higher next year, but I feel like this year I really developed a better system for camp. I brought in a lot of new safety regulations. I brought in a lot of new guidelines. We also then came in with some new stuff, like we had better walking, so we were able to take walks around the lake with the kids, stay in constant communication. We brought in emergency bags, so staff were fully equipped at all times with medical supplies. So while they're on the walk, if that child fell and scraped their knee, they're not panicking that they need to get back to the camp. They were well prepared, well supplied. We actually had fantastic lifeguards this past summer. They're still handling the last week or so that we have out there. But it worked great where we had a lot of busy weekends where I had multiple staff on hand, one sat and monitored the water, and every 30 minutes they would rotate. And the additional floater was checking the parking lot, monitoring for trash, asking for residency and things like that. Got a handful of pushbacks about people getting bags when Winchester's Lake went down for almost over a month this past summer. I'm not having them come here, but really still pushing for that residency for our beach. And there were many, many days that we dealt with a very packed beach between our camp beyond the bell and a 95-degree day. But besides that, it all ran really smoothly this summer. Looking forward to the improvements of our bathrooms. For next summer, we'll have drinkable water on hand, which will make a big difference. We lucked out, we lost the water for a day and a half this year. It was due to the ducks. Our fecal bacteria was too high, a rainstorm came through, they retested the next day, we were well below standard level. It's just that we were literally swarmed with ducks. And they got mean this year. The issue is really reminding the public not to feed the ducks. So I'm working on with my committee, updating a lot of the signage for the beach. Some of it's just kind of older things and some new things need to be added in, really emphasizing the ducks. We had a kid get bit by a duck at camp because he was trying to get his towel away and the duck thought he was feeding him. So these ducks get very hungry towards the end of the summer and they get very mean.
Ducks and swans are really big.
Yeah, like they're fine when they're babies, but the minute that whole little flock of ducks that are the babies at the beginning of summer are old enough, they're
Teenagers.
teenagers. That's a good way to put it. Yes, they don't do well with the other teenagers.
If you get a town dog,
There you go.
Can't have dogs at the beach. Oh, trust me,
town dog,
my dog would have a field day down at the beach.
you get a Newfoundland, that could be one of your lifeguards.
Yeah.
You take care of the ducks too.
Yeah, I'm for that certification. With that too, so we have 181 kids signed up for soccer. I have the lovely privilege of John Hoden has stepped up to help me spray soccer fields and help provide us with some extra spray paint. Rust-Oleum is backstopped everywhere, so striping paint is like non-existent right now in the world. And he did a fantastic, him and me tackled 6 fields over at Southland and 2 more will be going in the ground so that we can try to accommodate timeframes for the soccer program. Just finalizing a few more coaches for that. We've run through our men's and women's league over at Brown for this summer and have generated extra revenue from that versus what we would have done before. And surprisingly, our electric bill was never more expensive than the revenue we were taking in, which was one of my biggest concerns going in with there, not knowing what the lights were going to be, how electricity was going to look and things like that. So that's worked out really well in our favor. Or actually the men's league's wrapping up their last game tonight over at the field. Junior Swan Bass have been there. They're coming in again for the fall season. And it is great promotion because they're really pushing that. They're over at Brown and they're now coming home with state championships. They're going to regional tournaments. So it's really awesome to see that youth happening and them kind of really trying to own and claim that field as like their home field a little bit more. So it's really cool to see all of that progression. They ran a camp out there this summer, that those kids were there for that hottest week in July from 9 to noon out in that field, and they were running hard like it was a spring day, and it was not hot at all. It was really cool to see how well they drove those girls and the activities they were putting through. With that too, we have the co-ed league that's been running on the weekends, has actually kind of expanded a little bit more. We have a massive tournament coming through the second weekend in September, where there's 44 teams that will be playing between here and Keene Fields over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the big annual Jose tournament. So that'll be really exciting to see that extra people come into the town. We get a lot of out-of-state teams, so it'll be people who are not normally here. Lanes, we're in a progress of finalizing a design plan to work on upgrading some of the fields, and hopefully be able to taking the final plan to the planning board on the 8th. I
That's
think
the
it is.
plan, and Chad gets his new design.
Supposedly, they were supposed to be done tonight. I'm hopefully gonna get a phone call later. But I've been working really closely with John on trying to make sure that we're accommodating all the sports in the town, making sure everybody's getting what they need. We're not causing a hindrance on any programs, and that we're really working towards improving the safety of that ball field. And with that too, working on a grant for a new playground altogether for that location. Big projects
The
coming up.
South Road.
Yes, yep. And then two, coming up, we have our Halloween block party on the 29th of October. And then our very Swansea Christmas, we'll be hopefully doing basketball over at Cutler again. There should be hopefully no issue. Aubrey's just finalizing more of what their basketball program will be doing, so I can know cap frames and stuff like that.
I did have a complaint on South Road for the AED. I guess there's a red flashing light or something. But
There is.
there's no sign that says AED station or anything.
So all the little triangles did go up after the machines got put in. So they all have little triangles above them, and according to Brandon, his big plan is that he wants to put a light out over them as well. But they do at night have a little red flashing light that signals that they're there.
Can be seen from like the houses.
Well, it does, it faces like Neil's house and Bill Lane. Yeah,
Maybe some shielding or something, or?
we could, yeah. And the issue was we wanted to originally put out the front of the building where the pavilion is, but that cook shack door opens, like it slides open, so we were gonna run into that. So that side location was that next option that we went with. But yes, I can talk with Brandon and see what else can be done. I also have to talk to him about the one over at Brown, because it got wired into the same circuit breaker as the lights that we just installed onto a light switch.
Yeah.
So I'm slightly worried that if I flip the switch, something might happen. Haven't tested it yet, because I also just don't want to flip the switch, turn the lights on when I don't need to. But hopefully that I will make sure I have that conversation with him then too, when I talk to him about the other one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very excited to have those out. They're good.
Long time
Good, it did. And it's gonna be a good addition. I know people are very concerned about vandalism with it, things like that, but I feel like those are kind of the one big flashy things kids normally try not to touch. Fingers crossed.
I think they engage a camera or something. right, when
Yes,
you get
so
open,
if you touch it, there's a button on the front that will call 911 without you even opening it. So say somebody went down, you knew they weren't in cardiac arrest, but you knew you needed help, you can activate it that way. The minute it is open, it takes a photo and then dials 911 without you activating anything. So just by having it pull open. So any of those teams that come through, I think it's a beautiful face on camera.
Hopefully they're smiling.
I know, right? So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Great, thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
No, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank
A
you.
lot going on.
There is. I want to keep it that way. Keep moving forward with awesome projects. Oh, my
Where are we
God.
now?
6 o'clock, right on time.
Hopefully my child-
Oh, this is-
That's fine.
31, I think, is the notice.
Notice of a public hearing is hereby given that the Swansea Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 31st, 2022 at 6 p.m. for a special events permit from ME Productions to hold an outdoor music festival on the Cheshire Fairgrounds property at 247 Monadnock Highway. The proposed festival would be held on Friday, June 16th through Sunday, June 18th, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Public hearing is open.
So I think you folks would like to give us a little bit of an overview of how things went this year and what you're proposing for changes for next year.
Sure.
To start.
Yeah, so, being a first year, we had some bumps to kind of get over, but, overall, we think it went really well. We really enjoyed it. We had a good turnout. We initially had some traffic issues getting people in for camping, and that was kind of the first thing that we decided to look at for next year. So we're gonna allow people to have early entry on Thursday if they're camping, so allow for half the folks, so we can get them in earlier, not have any traffic concerns. We got ahead of them once they start happening, but we want them to not happen at all. So we're gonna have all ingress happening down Safford Drive, no longer from gate 3 on 12. That'll help things along, but also with half of the entry for camping on Thursday. So that's one thing that we addressed that we thought could be an issue. We know that Route 12 can get really backed up and we want to stay here. All in all, it was great. It was very hot. But all in all, it was a great turnout. That's the big change for us. Obviously, there's the third day we're looking to add. We can add a Sunday. And again, we are asking for the 11 p.m. if possible. We want to throw that out there, but a lot of the outdoor sheds and music venues tend to go to 11. We're just trying to stay with that. We don't want to go any later. There's a lot of festivals do, but we think 11 p.m. would be appropriate for what we're doing.
Anything else? That I know the traffic was extreme, so it's good to hear that you have a plan to address that.
Yeah, we think that's a big one. We know that could be a big concern. So, no longer will there be ingress in like gate 3 through 12. It's all Safford Drive, which is what it was built for, I'm assuming. And then having some early entry on Thursday, we think, once you see it once, you kind of realize, it's like you have this plan in your head and you do it. And as soon as it starts, you realize how you can adjust it. It doesn't take much. It's just, you got to do it once and now we know we can fix it.
Especially when people start showing up earlier than you planned, right?
Well, right. Well, exactly, yeah. So that's why it also allowing some folks to have early entry will just alleviate the whole thing for that,
And not all of them cutting it off at 50%, so it alleviates the ingress on both days.
Right, because if everyone bought an early entry fee, it wouldn't alleviate any traffic concerns. We just turn it from one day to the next day. So we'll cut it off at 50% to make sure, 50% one day, 50 the other.
Well, as long as they're stacking up on the fairgrounds property too, it's not.
Yeah, that's why we come down Safford, we'll bring them in Route gate 4 and stack them all the way down the other end of the fairground. So we'll get
So 4 lanes, all.
I don't remember offhand how many cars it is, but it's quite a lot of cars we can get in there. Now we have the systems in place. We can do it. We also have a letter of intent with Keene State College now for overflow park, offsite park. So they have that lot on Winchester Street in Keene. So instead of the airport property that we were using, we now have a letter of intent from Keene to contract up there too. Which will have shuttle buses just running continually through the weekend.
Sounds like a better option. Not, it worked last year.
It worked, but if it rains a lot, it could be a problem. This is asphalt, it's a lot more space. It just is a better option. Again, another thing that we do once we adjust, so.
Is
We'll
it
make it better.
the Keene State, you said Keene State, not city, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the parking for the students.
Yeah, like the commuter.
Yeah,
block
yeah.
is Huge.
Yeah.
So I'm just especially another bus stop. Yeah. Do you have any other questions that you want us to go into?
It's fine. My only one was the traffic, and I called Michael, and obviously got a hold in, so got resolved.
Yeah.
Got a plan for next year.
For sure, yes.
I hadn't seen traffic like that since before the roundabout went in at Keene.
Oh, really?
Everybody used to back up the tire warehouse, back up in the Swans. But that was pretty extreme.
Oh, it was, huh? I wasn't even aware of it going past Stafford Drive, went further past it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah, it was in Bikini.
Our traffic.
No, he's saying before there was.
No.
He's saying
I-
that this
Oh.
was just like before.
Yeah.
Oh, just like, yeah.
It just
okay.
in reverse.
All
It
right,
was south, going south.
Oh,
instead
no
of
way,
going
because I
north.
heard that the monster truck had big traffic issues, but I didn't realize ours were that bad. Well,
I think the monster truck was the one that was worse, I thought.
Oh, was
That
that
was
the
on,
one?
that was on
Oh,
the Saturday.
Sorry about that.
But theirs
I don't
was,
know, I
theirs
can't
was,
really
theirs was.
recall
The big
it.
one was back to the roundabout.
Back to the roundabout.
Yeah, it was
The
good.
roundabout in Swansea there, so I remember I got a call from you,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, it was so bad for the monster truck driver, we just want to make sure. that-
Mhm.
Yeah, it was getting there. There were golf carts driving up the road.
I will say, that I think we only had one complaint about the music, and it was someone over on Oliver Hill Road, which, I mean, I guess the crow flies is close, but it's really not that close.
Sound is funny.
But ingress and egress are one of our biggest concerns. We actually put together a plan for next year. Do we think it's going to alleviate it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments?
We do have, just before you go, we do have a couple people on Zoom, so if you are interested in speaking, just indicate by raising your hand. We're gonna take the Sportellos here first, but then you can get in line if you'd like to say anything.
Kathy Sportello, 75 Arrowcrest Drive. I'm sorry, Kathy, yes, okay, thank you. Yep, 75 Arrowcrest. I have to commend you, the noise level was a lot better than it was the past 2 years. It's tolerable.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is much better. And what we're afraid of, speaking on behalf of my husband and I, we're just afraid that we're asking for an extra day and you're asking for 11 o'clock. We're afraid of a creeping effect, because then you're going to want to come back and say, okay, we wanted it in July, we wanted it in August, we wanted it every couple of weeks. So we're just afraid of that. We don't want to see that.
We're hearing you on that. We're hearing what you're saying. We have no intentions of doing a quote unquote season and doing lots of events there. And quite frankly, neither does the Cheshire Fairgrounds.
And that's where Gary's from here, he's representing the fairgrounds. They want their fairgrounds back, you know, that was a COVID thing, the option's not there anymore. And that's really the truth. I mean, now we're just a weekend renter, you know, so they have their horse shows and their
Right,
agricultural
and
festivals.
we hear that too. We hear the speakers early in the morning, we for shows. We hear everything.
I'm sure, yeah.
And I am concerned though that you're making these rules. I saw all these rules online, don't do this, don't do that. But I called the police because it was outside and it was a drone on the top of my roof. So there's an airport there. So I was concerned because planes fly all the time over my house, our house. So I was afraid about that. You're not policing that. So there was a drone on my roof. I was outside watering my plants and there was a drone right on top of my roof, not in the backyard or whatever, on top of my roof. Very buzzy. So I think there needs to be some type of presence there. When I called the police, they appreciated that. They were very nice. But my concern was who's enforcing these laws? And there's the airport there. Because the airport's there.
Yeah,
So it's
so,
all the time.
yeah, the drone thing is something where whoever comes in with a drone, they have to be an approved photographer from us, and they have to get approval from the airport and from the FAA.
They have a special license to have the type of drone that doesn't have a chip in it that grounds it around airports. So not everybody can fly a drone, but if someone has special FAA license for it, they're in contact with the local airport. And they will get authorization to do it. We can,
I don't know if
Yeah,
somebody
well-
snuck it in or whatever,
No.
because if you're camping, you know,
You guys had
it's just, it was a concern.
we did, and we hear your concern, and it's actually, it's all over the rules, and we have security search every car that comes in for various things, and drones and any kind of like motorized vehicles are one of them. And that's something that we definitely keep in mind, because specifically we go to the airport and we're totally aware of it.
Okay,
So we'll definitely stay on top of that.
okay. And another thing, just to point out, just driving down Route 12, which traffic when we were there wasn't that bad, but people were hanging their laundry and blankets all along the fencing, all the way down Route 12. And it just, yeah, it just didn't look nice. And I realized they're camping and they have their little pop-up tents all along there, all along that alleyway where the sheds are on Route 12, all the fencing. They were all blankets and clothes. It just looked like an eyesore, I'm sorry.
I think you're doing the camping in a different area this year, is that right, or is that for the fair?
Yeah, that's another big adjustment too, actually, where all those, I guess, the cow barns there towards Route 12 are all gonna get blocked off by a 6-foot fence that we're actually gonna pound in the ground. It's not permanent, but to keep everyone out of there for safety, fireland. I mean, we just think it's better to keep people out of there and then move all the camping, most of the camping into the infield. So they'll still be camping down there.
Well, they were right there,
Spain.
they were right on Route 12, these
Yeah.
little pop-up tents, you
Mhm.
can see them all.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it just looked terrible. You know. I mean, they're there for 2 days, now you want them there for 3 days, so people, that's what they're gonna do.
Well, that is something that we could try to mitigate. I don't mind telling our camping team to try to mitigate what is going on the fence line, especially because that's what's visible on Route 12. You hear what you're saying?
You know, there's the privacy screen too, that could do something like that, if it would help visually.
I don't know, it's not
So
that high, the
there's-
fence isn't that high, I mean, because they were right there, you can just see it.
Yeah,
As you roll down your window and you can smell the marijuana, that was fine. Because that's what you do. But anyway, it's just the clothes were just an eyesore.
I just would like to mention, the town events committee did review our policy last year. And I don't know the specifics without, but, we have limited the amount of outdoor series that can happen throughout a year.
Okay,
So if a concert series wanted to come in and do 5 shows, like 5 series of shows, they wouldn't be able to. I think it's a limit of 3 a year. But it is available on our website, so you could take a look at that.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Thank you, Kathy. Gary?
No, I just think that, I think there's a simple fix on that, the laundry pit, you know, looking at the area or whatever. We can work with them. And I think we can work with them on the traffic too. I mean, we might have to have some sort of traffic guard or something there at gate 4, just so we don't back up like we do with the monster truck. That's a little different situation. They were collecting money at the gate 1 of the parking lot. That's what backed up. But they also took 2 lanes, which we didn't know about at the time, and we did get it corrected. But
Definitely on street flaggers like.
yeah, but I think you guys have a good plan. We've already discussed a lot of this already.
Yeah.
With their committees.
Anyone else?
Last shot for folks on Zoom, if you'd like to either unmute or indicate by raising your hand. Otherwise, we'll be closing the public hearing.
Hearing is closed. What are we being asked to consider the difference this year from last year?
So it's the
And
additional,
how do we assure that the comment with regard to the linens along the fence are resolved?
so to answer the first question would be that they're adding the Sunday for concerts. Sunday was just kind of a campers left and that sort of stuff, but they didn't have concerts on Sunday. And to go till 11 PM on Friday and Saturday as opposed to the 10 PM. Those are the 2 main changes.
And so Thursday would just be a pull-in for half of their
Correct.
Public
No
hearings
no
closed.
concerts on Thursday.
No,
public hearings closed. This is you and me, man.
No concerts on
So,
Thursday.
so Thursday night would simply be entry set up for half of the campers. No
Correct.
music,
Correct.
no lighting, anything like that, other than what they need for safety purposes.
Correct.
And then Friday and Saturday would be until 11 at night, and what's Sunday?
10.
Kind of late on Sunday,
Okay,
I think.
anybody?
We are planning to have a meeting prior, like 6 weeks out before the concerts, to just solidify everything and that we're all on the same page. We kind of did it last year, but it was really short notice, so 6 weeks out, we'll probably do something, so we'll have better details too, as far as maybe how you're gonna rectify the clothing,
The linen issue.
linen issue. We should have that, I think.
I think given Kathy's comment that the music was at a level that was much more acceptable this year than last year, I'd personally be supportive of 11 on a trial basis, but not 10 o'clock on Sunday. I think Sunday should be 8 or 9.
Seems reasonable.
Go for that.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that if we go to 11 on Friday and Saturday, that we should go to 9 on Sunday.
And does that allow safe egress? But because Sunday this year was just a pass out, it was, people
Right.
were leaving.
Right.
So would it create a safety issue?
To let them out at 9.
Yeah.
Still kind of light, depending, it's July, right? So it's still or June. Yeah.
June, and
Just
the
before the longest
campers,
day of the year.
the campers would still stay and do the egress on Monday morning. So it would be a portion of the concert goers leaving at 9 o'clock on Sunday, say, and the campers stay overnight to leave in the morning.
I'm sorry, but that road in the morning going down, the traffic, that's why that traffic light at the circle at the intersection makes you is long when you make your left turn onto 12, onto 9 and 101. That light is long because I drove that in the mornings every morning, and there's cars are just whizzing by. And if you're gonna have all these campers coming out on Monday morning, I think you're gonna.
Might want to make them go down Safford and then take a right on 32, and then if they want to go to the roundabout.
Kathy's talking about the lighted tire wear.
I'm suggesting avoiding Route 12 at all and send them out Safford down to Route 32, and then if they need to get back to 12, they could take the roundabout, but. To avoid, I thought partly she was saying to take a left onto Route 12. That would be my concern. If you had a lot of campers trying to take a left onto Route 12, so.
There's cars coming. from
Unless you have a police
Massachusetts.
officer
They're all
there.
coming down. There's a lot of traffic in the morning. But just a thought.
And if you said 9, I don't know, depending on how their sets work, I know they do and deal in blocks, so it might end up being 8, I don't know, but I know they have time blocks, so if you did, they had a show at 7, they might not do another one at 8 to 9 or something, so potentially it might. Instead of going to 10, it might move it up a little earlier, even if you went with 9, might not be ending at 9. I don't know the logistics of the set, but.
So what's your feeling, 8 or 9?
8.
And make that motion
Yeah, and that's 8
on Sunday.
PM.
Yeah.
8 PM, okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope it's a successful one.
Appreciate it.
Hope it's successful for the neighbors.
Yeah, same.
And we appreciate your comments too, so thank you for.
We do. We want to make it work for everybody, so we do our best.
What's next, Mike?
No, it's appreciated.
New business?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you, Larry. Take care, Larry. Good to see you, Gary.
take care, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. Well, this was unfortunate, but
Long coming, unfortunately, but you better go to the September meeting because I'm following up on something he had asked about a couple months ago. So I might strong arm him into at least attending that one, maybe on Zoom. But
so maybe should we hold off on this one?
you can hold off if you want, but I'm not arguing with him.
I'll make the motion to accept and regret Steve Bettle's resignation from EDAC.
Yeah, second.
It's amazing how much effort he puts in on behalf of the town.
Absolutely.
I think Beverly has much more of a sense of it than we do. But
He's extremely
extraordinary.
valuable to this town. You lose a major asset if you lost him completely.
Yeah, you're right. With regret, all in favor?
I,
The Energy Commission in charge.
So this is something we've kind of been kicking around for probably close to a year now, but we had the Community Power Committee that worked on obviously the Community Power Plan last year into this year. And there was some interest in kind of continuing them in a broader purpose. I think with electric rates and fuel prices, how they are, it only makes much more sense to keep them involved. So I think they could provide some expertise and some assistance looking at solar for town buildings, something we've talked about, but it's kind of not in anyone's job description, so it's kind of fallen through the cracks. But when we look at some of these town projects, efficiencies and fuel sources, something we've talked about, but I think they could develop an expertise, do informational stuff, help continue to advocate for community power once that gets up and running. So I wasn't aware, but there actually is a statute related to energy commissions, just like a conservation commission or heritage commission. So we basically took that charge. It's something the select board or the voters can create. And I think we added in a couple things to our own. So we have at least 3 people, I think, that I know of that have expressed interest. So we got a couple of spots to recruit, but I would ask you to create it and get them started and see how it goes.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
The MAST grant.
This is an annual tradition. We like to continue to apply for these grants and we've been pretty successful with them. So in 2022, we're just about to break ground on extending basically from where the sidewalk ends on Sawyer's Crossing Road up to Cedar Road, with formerly Old Eaton Road. We might get a little bit further depending on how far the budget gets. And so this is a letter of support and authorization to apply for what would be the next phase, basically from there to, again, as far as we can get with the budget, whether it's Causeway Road or Centerview Circle, but somewhere in that, or Crescent Drive, I think it is there. So basically to continue that march towards the bridge, and then we can march from the school southward.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
MS 434, updated revenue.
So overall, nothing too exciting, although as I mentioned in my memo, we are seeing kind of the first little dip really ever in motor vehicle registrations. Not a shock probably, but even last year when we heard it was hard to get cars, they continued to stay strong, but it's looking like this is going to be the first year and certainly recent memory that the motor vehicle collections might be less than last year. So hopefully that's not a trend. Hopefully it's just the current circumstances and it could recover. But that is our biggest non-tax revenue. So if that does become a trend, that would be concerning. But we're looking like we're still going to hit the budget for this year because we try to always lag a little bit. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So that's coming back to not benefit us, but at least we don't have to subtract it down and figure out where we're going to come up with that money. So
Yeah, this one's up 1%.
that's the estimate. I talked to Dave today. He's hoping we're going to have a draft of that tomorrow. So put some big stuff on the horizon, but yeah, this year I think it's still going to be another similar, 1 to 2% increase in assessed value.
Okay.
And we do have separately some large unanticipated revenues, which once you set your schedule, I'll schedule here to accept. Here's the duck.
God, you shut down Swansea Lake and now you're stopping our meeting. What the heck? Budget schedule and process.
Yeah, I got your message.
Schedule seems fine.
Oh, Bill, if you can have Jenna take the stuff, if you want to get an angle at signing the stuff, if you wouldn't mind doing it sooner rather than later.
I don't need to sign it. People sign.
Just if you want that privilege.
I
Right.
don't need it.
It is
Do
stamped.
you want to send me the letter with the mask grant or anything? Or what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's get you into the video.
It's toward the tail end.
Nice letter to Dennis Abrams. You don't want him to think there's some conspiracy or something.
Yep, okay, right.
That Dunkin' Donuts advising the,
No, she has COVID. Got a positive.
Hey, everyone can only dodge it for so long. I think, other than you guys are still survived, but
You haven't had it?
No,
Oh, come on.
haven't.
My husband got it and none of us got it.
I got it. Lindsay didn't get it.
Well, our son had it.
Yeah, he had it a while ago, yeah.
I wish she got this. She never goes anyplace.
Probably from you.
Looks like we did pretty well with the heating oil and the propane. I was shocked. Holy cow, I would like to.
Bought it for 409 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, wow.
We definitely got a lot less
We'll
bids
be up
though.
40 cents now.
We only got like 3, right? Perfect
Uh,
Dead River and
Yeah,
LNG or discount.
Was there any disclaimer in there about availability?
Dead River only did propane. They basically, his email was a little hard to
Yeah,
understand, but
mysterious,
I think he basically was saying like it's just too volatile to like lock in. Basically for diesel.
Rhymes.
Really? A lot of people can. They're saying their companies aren't offering
And
it.
a good price.
how much?
$1.83.
Oh, for propane.
Oh, propane. Oh,
Supposedly propane doesn't get hit
geez, mine was
like
like.
natural gas and.
I think our
oil.
propane is similar to last
Mine
year.
was
Yeah.
like 90 cents for propane.
I talked to a guy that
All
worked
right.
at one of the companies and he said propane's
Last year.
fine.
The whole development has it. So
Oh.
doesn't the whole development
Yeah.
use rhymes?
So.
So
the
they
propane's
have a
based
lot
on
more
usage.
gallons. Yeah.
Yeah, and we ran our pellet stove a lot, so we didn't use as much, so that's probably why our rate went up, because we didn't use.
But
as
guess
much.
what? Pellet prices are gonna go high
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Diesel,
they're gonna hop on.
No,
well,
it
They're
takes-
gonna hop on the wagon.
right, but it takes diesel to bring them the product, it takes diesel to bring the product to you.
That's
And
true.
most of them are electric blowers, so like you're gonna have to.
So you're not gonna want to use
We're not-
pellets, you're
yeah,
gonna
we're
wanna use
not.
propane.
We're gonna use our propane this year.
No electric to run my wood stove.
Yeah.
Gotta be there to feed
It's
it
getting
though.
no matter what, right?
Do we have?
Yep.
That's right.
What? You want a motion on that? One contract, I'll make the motion. Discount.
So,
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Thanks, John.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Okay.
That's,
See, then I did F and G. I did F and G already together.
Yeah.
They combined it.
I think the names of the two men from Emmy Productions.
Mike Chadina
Oh, yeah, that's one of them.
and Seth. I'll have to send it to you. It's Seth something.
I can find it in a previous. I
Yeah.
thought maybe you had it at the top of your head.
Half, well, 3/4.
the Falls Area Community Television.
Did you
proposal.
set the schedule?
Yeah, we did.
Just one other new business well, you didn't see. We got one of the tax deeded purposes, one of the tax deeded properties, Swansea Lake Road.
232.
Yeah, was repurchased.
Do I have it?
You do not. It came up since subsequent,
Oh, it's not on here.
correct.
Okay, well, I missed the September meeting schedule. anyway, so.
You said you already said
I
it,
thought we
so
already approved that last meeting.
probably.
That was for August.
So we, that's timely.
230
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. 232 Swansea Lake Road was one of the properties we tax deeded. They have an opportunity to repurchase the property for the total amount due, and they've done that. So we need the board to author or execute a deed back to them.
This is Swansea Lake Road.
232 Swansea Lake Road,
What was the number again?
232.
232, okay.
Did they pay transfer tax on that?
I don't think our deed
I
is,
think it said that there was like an municipal thing.
yeah, I don't think we pay transfer tax
No, we
on it.
would, I'm just wondering if the buyers, yeah, the buyers.
Might be one of the fees that's factored in.
Sure.
Yeah, they have to pay all, in this case, we didn't have any costs, but if we had costs related to the property, they'd have to pay those too, but. So I need a motion to
So what
execute.
was it? They didn't take it seriously and
Kevin, bless his heart, he asked him, he said, can I ask why you waited? They literally called the day after. Why
They
you
said
waited,
To communicate.
why you waited until today? And there was a long pause. I said, I don't have a good answer. Okay, at least they were honest.
next,
So you'll make that
You want
motion
a
so
motion?
Motion.
A Couple of us signed it.
to execute the
I'll make the
deed.
motion.
Okay. It's not notarized yet.
All in
So
favor?
the motion is to,
Deed the property back to the former
Deed it back,
owners
okay.
based on the payoff.
Yeah, 232 Swansea Lake Road.
yeah, get that, just refer to the owner of of the previous owner.
Yeah, I think you
Okay.
said previous owners.
I got it. You can go on.
All in favor?
I,
September meeting schedule, the 14th and the 28th. We got on that. Falls area community television proposals.
So we got
Sounded logical, what you put in there.
Perfect. So I'll work on negotiating an agreement on the option one then.
We need a motion.
No, because I'll bring it back when I get the actual agreement.
The watershed study update.
So we got the roster from the Swansea Lake Association, so we have a good group of people that are gonna be working on that project and studying the lake and making sure we preserve it and maximize its quality. So that was
Kill the
mainly
beavers.
informational. What's that?
And kill the beavers.
Give us the-
Yeah, do we have any more issues with the beaver? It's been a couple of years since we really heard about it.
I mean, we have the washouts periodically from when they dam up or the dam lets go up on Christian Hill, but other than that, no, I don't think it's been quite as bad.
The request by West Swansea Road Solar Garden LLC to extend their solar payment in lieu of taxes.
Basically, they had a year to get up and running, based on, we've been accommodating, but based on Eversource, they're just not sure that they're gonna be ready to do that. So they're, and I think they've changed their LLC as well, so they're looking for us to extend it and recognize the new LLC.
Is it in current use now?
Yes, pretty sure.
We need a motion. What does the motion need to read?
We authorized me to approve the extension of the solar agreement, for the taxes.
But it doesn't mention the change in name. do we?
I just included the new name,
Okay, so we
basically.
don't have to have a separate motion on that.
Yep.
Make that motion.
second,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else, Michael?
Just kind of informational, the Old Richmond Road Fire Pond project was corrected, recompleted. The neighbor across the street was over there admiring its work when Joe and I went and checked it out and was very happy with how it came out. So it
On the picture.
looks really good. The concrete came out really nice. So our DPW crew did a really good job on that.
So the kids can have their fishing derby.
Hey, that water was clear enough to swim in. Might be, Jeff said it'd be a little too cold for him, but you can see it's really clean, really clear water. And even with how dry it's been, it filled up fast.
Huh.
That
Really?
hill runs some water, yeah.
Anything besides our non-public?
I think so. I think that was a,
Anybody online have anything?
we have Joel. I don't know. He doesn't, he isn't unmuted, so. Last chance, Joel. Thanks for sticking with us.
And we'll make the motion for
Non-public for A.
make a motion. We go in under A.
no, second.
Colby.
Aye.
Oh, well, Karazinski.
Aye.
All right, Joel, have a good
Thanks,
night.
Joel. Thanks for being here.